Alright, so apparently these Fords are really fast, which made them not so ideal for farming. I don't know if Ford was trying to win a land speed record or what. So we got it in high gear now. Gonna try, is that reverse? Gonna try and grab third. Give her some RPM. Well, this ought to be pretty dangerous. Here we go, try and let off the throttle easy. Holy bucket! Actually, I think the oil's trying to... Actually, I think the oil's trying to drop itself all of a sudden. I heard a pop noise and here we go. Howdy my friends and welcome to the channel today. I'm Luke, Thunderhead229 here on YouTube, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Some tractor things. This is a 1948 Ford 9N, maybe it's 46, 47, 48. I can't remember, you know, it is whatever it is, but the thing's old. It was restored back in the 90s. Let's get in and out of the wind here, get a better look at it. But it was restored back in the 90s and then, you know, wasn't used a whole lot, and it's sat for a good amount of time, you know, long enough that the pan is full of a bunch of sludge that I gotta deal with. So, picked it up a little while back and I'm just finally getting to it, and I need to use the thing actually on the property, you know. So it's gonna be put back into working service when I'm done getting it going here, and I don't know, hopefully I can. That was the intent with buying it. So let's jump right in, just see how it goes. So let's just take a quick walk around of the unit here. Like I said, it was restored, so it has a pretty okay paint job that's 25, 30 years old or so. Now the fella did say that the guy who restored it told him that the engine's never been opened, so that's all original. I'm not surprised. I don't think this tractor had a lot of use in its day. So you can see the steering is very tight on the thing still. I don't know if that shows up, but you know, it's just immediate response. So that kind of tells me that it hasn't been used a whole lot. But I bought some attachments for it, tried to mock it up. We'll see if that works, if I got all that set up right on the 3-point. Other than that, you know, it's old school. It's still got the 6-volt system. Again, probably very low hours on the thing. At some point, someone did put a new carburetor on it. I can't tell if that's a Chinesium unit or what, but it sat. The biggest problem with this thing is it sat so long that the oil that was in it is just trash. I mean, it's sludge and goop and gunk. And so what I did is, a little while back I dropped the oil, and then I actually filled the crankcase. You know, I guess I didn't put a whole lot in, but just enough to break some of the gunk and everything up at the bottom, just a little bit of gasoline. Now, I don't recommend doing that on cars. Typically, the only reason I'm okay with doing it in this case is because here's our little fill. It goes right down into the bottom of the crankcase. Most engines, like that F100 out there, you know, it's filled from the valve cover, and you just wouldn't want gasoline running all down through all your parts, you know, hitting your front and rear main seal and other things and causing issues that you don't want to have happen. But with this, it's probably okay, you know, cross our fingers. Anyway, I'll quit rambling and we'll pull this plug and see if we get any of that gunky oil out with having our gasoline in there. So, pop our breather here. Did I bring any rags? No, I didn't. That's fine. You know, I'll sit on that later. That'll be fun. All right. Oh, wrong way. Not right-handed. So my right hand is not as intelligent as my left. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully it pulls some of the goop and gunk out of this thing. I assume the oil pump pickup locates right in the middle of this screen, and it does have a canister style filter, which we'll address here in a second. You can see that screen is just chocked full of goop. Although it was a lot worse. I wish I would have got it on cam, but looks like the gasoline did do it some good sitting in there for a little while. Let's just take a look here and after that and see what we have. There is a lot less goop, but still you can see the sludge. I can definitely find some and scrape it out. Not good, not good. So we're gonna have to run some Marvel Mystery Oil in here a few times and a few different oil changes to try and get this all out of here, you know, and that's the intent. I just got some cheap 1540 oils. I have no idea what the oil pressure is. I can't imagine with an unopened engine that it's too good. Maybe I should go get a few rags before I get any farther. Oh boy. One of those guys that never wears gloves either. It's just whatever. Well, it's pretty cool. When someone restored this thing, they must have replaced all the stickers. I can't imagine those are the original 1940s stickers and what have you there. So they're in pretty good shape. Ooh, this has got the old school sediment bowl in it. So I didn't used to have, I guess, when I grew up, my dad had a Model A. And this is so extremely reminiscent of our 1929 Model A in a lot of ways. You know, the flathead 4-cylinder here, some weird old school filter things. I don't think the Model A even had an oil filter if I remember right. You know, it has an updraft carb which we'll tune in a second here. Man, there's some weight to that guy. I've actually never owned anything with a canister filter. Oop, that's probably important. Maybe we have a new one. Our replacement. That's probably important. Maybe. This is the part where y'all laugh at me as I'm doing the wrong thing, and I have no idea. Oh man, that thing's been in there for a time. Look at all that sludge and goop that's in there. Definitely very reminiscent of moisture. Look at that. Or that could even be bearing material because it's gray. Let's hope not. We'll see though. Hopefully we don't have an engine. A rod knock or something when we get her going and we're missing some of our bearings. That would be extremely undesirable. I would have very much regret my purchase at that point. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or what. You can hear folks shooting in the background. I actually live right across from a shooting range, which I was not aware of until after the fact. Not necessarily a bad thing.
My horses can play fetch. Ready? Woo. Fetch.
Oh. Oh, hey, he ate it. He didn't bring it back.
The second part, we're working on it.
Alright, so I'm just going to try and do some initial settings on the carb. The throttle linkage is actually hanging out on the back side, which is a little hard to get to, but it's not too terribly bad. And basically, from my minute amount of reading, what it said is you want to run it down and there's a little stopper right here, and basically the first moment of resistance on that screw, you know, you can kind of feel it when you get to that stopper, and from that point you're supposed to turn it 3 full turns in as far as an initial throttle setting. And so if you go more than that, apparently your idle mixture screw will do nothing. Now the only other two adjustments external to this carburetor are a idle mixture screw and then a high speed, I guess for lack of a better term, jet screw. This thing's really interesting. So what I assume is this is very similar to a motorcycle carburetor in that it's a needle that goes down into the main jet, and based on its setting, the farther in it is, the smaller the jet orifice is and the leaner it will be. You can see it here. And then the farther out it is, the richer it will be. So from my very minute amount of reading that I've done, apparently the ideal adjustment is to run this thing all the way in and then to take it one full turn out. We'll see if that proves true. The other thing is your float height adjustment, which on our automotive carburetor videos, you know, we know that makes a huge difference. And so hopefully that's set up right, but if not, you know, that's something we'll drop our bowl and take a look at. So here we go, we got a little mark, we're kind of pointing this way towards the block. We're gonna go 1/2 turn, or I guess that's 1 full turn. We can't count today. That's 1 full turn out. And then we'll run this guy all the way in here. Our mix screw, we don't want to get too crazy and mess up our seat. Just when we feel it get all the way down, there we go. And so now we're going to go 1/2 and then 1 full turn. So in theory, based on what the internet's told me, that's a good starting point. We'll see if that proves true. So really interesting, the throttle linkage on this guy. You check this out. It moves this lever, comes down here, goes through all this weird rotational mechanism up and down. It cantilevers back here and then finally gets to the carbs. So I think at this point we're just about ready to fire the thing up. This is an oil bath air breather. It's kind of interesting. The air comes up, goes in, has to go through this oil bath, and then it goes into the engine. Somehow, magically, it doesn't suck a bunch of oil into the engine, which still blows my mind. Obviously now, technology moved on by the 50s or 60s, and they went with paper elements. See if we can do this with one hand. I assume this is full of ancient, dirty oil, but I could be wrong. I know it was not driven a whole lot, and definitely not in an agricultural scenario. Huh, looks pretty clean. Clean enough that I'm willing to give it a run with it in there. So, there we go. Try not to dump that all over the garage floor. All right, so starting procedure. Gonna unplug our Chinesium battery charger from the good old Amazon. Got all the terminals, yep, we're good. Pretty suspicious of that ancient battery, but we'll see. I don't know, I'd hate to hit it with like a 12-volt jump pack. So I don't know if that's a thing you can do on 6-volt systems, but hopefully that just works. I think we're good. Let's see if we can get up in here. All right. We're in neutral, I think. Not super familiar with tractor things. I know that's probably the start. Maybe half throttle. Those are the lights. The choke here. Well, that's not a good sign. Oh, there we go. Doesn't sound like we have any ignition. That would be unfortunate. Oh, hey, there's supposed to be a key in here. That'll make a difference. Shucks. All right. Key is in. Maybe we'll do something. It's an updraft carburetor, no accelerator pump, just a throttle lever, very similar to a lawnmower. And so we definitely need our choke to get an engine like this started. Oh, and we need to turn the fuel on. We're just full of remembering things today. There we go. That will make a difference. Okay. Third time's a charm, maybe. I bet you this thing just like rolls smoke out of the exhaust. It's probably super wore out and toast. Oh, shoot. Hey, our oil pressure came up. That was frightening for a moment. Those guys on the Google must have been right about the carburetor adjustments. Exhaust is basically right under me, but we're not smoking whatsoever. Okay. See if we can lower the idle. Seems to be idling pretty high. Well, son of a gun, the thing's actually running. It's charging. It only has 30 pounds of oil pressure when it's cold. It's never good. It's probably gonna drop. It's not burning any oil, at least it's not rolling smoke. I figured for sure the piston rings would be all seized up. It was parked on a gravel floor, you know, with Iowa humidity and everything. Not bad, not bad. We'll let her warm up and we'll drop the oil. Actually, I think the oil's trying to... Actually, I think the oil's trying to drop itself all of a sudden. I heard a pop noise and here we go. So, yeah, that's exciting. Interesting. I wonder what I did wrong on that. Well, that was an interesting time. That's definitely not what you want. Kind of suspicious of that little O-ring that I had mentioned earlier. So I think it was holding our lid. Is there any dry areas? Well, there was when I first pulled it. So it must have been holding our cap up and off of our oil filter. So let's just try this again. Apparently that guy is not the ideal unit. So it looks like, you know, it's compressing down. Looks like it's sealing like it should, perhaps, maybe. All right, so I've got in here and lowered our idle speed because she still seems to be idling pretty high. We've added more oil again, you know, since we lost a crap ton just a little while ago. Hopefully that O-ring was the difference there. That, you know, like I said, it just looked like something that someone had added themselves. Kind of seemed out of place having two O-rings side by side. So with that, let's fire this thing up one more time. There we go. Oil pressure is coming up. Not spraying any oil anywhere. So I'm sure some of you guys are laughing at me right now because, you know, I hope it's just because I'm stupid. But for whatever reason, I can't get the 3-point to go up. I got the engagement lever, I guess, for lack of a better term, whatever you call it, in place. And then I'm trying to run the thing up and down, and it's not moving. So that would be bad, because that's pretty important and pretty integral to why I bought this thing. And so that's kind of got to work. I'm going to do a little figuring, but I'm really hoping it's just because I'm an idiot. Fingers crossed. Not too often in life you hope you're stupid, but this is one of those times. I think I might have it figured here. If you remember that noise, it was kind of coming from this area. When I bumped this shifter, it went away. So we're gonna idle it up. PTO is engaged here. We're in neutral. Let's give this thing a gear. Now we'll try and run it up. Okay, now we're in business. Still seems seems like kind of a high idle RPM, but I'll keep finagling with that, you know. If I remember right, they're supposed to be down around 400 or 500. Now I'm sure it has a very, very, like, you know, mild cam being a tractor. So anyway, feels good and hot. I'm gonna have to get a thermostat or a temp sensor on this thing because I don't want to cook it, and I have no idea what the temp is right now or the condition of the radiator or anything. I know it's sat for a long time, so you know how that goes with the radiators. Usually they're kind of toasty. Okay, there she is. Hopefully that got all the sludge worked free and loosened up, and we can drain it out. Luckily, you know what happens sometimes when you do stuff like this is that sludge will break free and block up an oil passage. So, you know, I don't think we were in that bad a shape, but so far I don't hear any weird noises and it sounds like we're okay. One thing I didn't think about is this belt in here is completely, absolutely petrified. So that's probably a matter of time before that snaps. But for now, you know, we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope for the best. I want our drain pan to be centered. Always a good idea. This will be very telling how much crap comes out of this thing. That was definitely a scorcher. Coming out pretty clean now. At the beginning, you could see it was pretty tar-like, but not bad, not bad. So this is something I do with like all revival type things, you know. Change the oil a few times over just to get all the sludge and crap out. You can see there's a lot of moisture that was in the oil coming out right here, you know. And it doesn't seem like it's got a blown head gasket or nothing like that. So I think we're good in that regard. I just can't get over this oil smells exactly like Coca-Cola. I'm not even kidding. That is the weirdest thing. All right, so oil's all changed for the second time. New oil filters in. One thing to note is, dang dude, this battery is a tough son of a gun. It's been hanging on through all of this stuff here. So I don't know, there's probably like a right orientation to get this to start it. You know, I'm used to having accelerator pumps, you know, where I pump it, put some raw gas in, and then just hit the key on a cold start, but we don't have that opportunity here with this thing. You know, also, side note, I don't recommend standing in front of a tractor or a vehicle when you're trying to start it, so this is super unsafe. Never do this. Come on, buddy. There we go. Oil pressure coming up as it fills that thing. We're not slinging oil all over the place, so that's good. We'll count that as a victory. We got the PTO all figured out. I do know we have plenty of fluid in the transaxle or whatever you'd call it here. I checked that, and I probably should check the coolant now that I run it. It was all the way up full when I started today, but it would be good to just verify that we have no head gasket issues. But the coolant hoses are pumping up and staying solid, so that's a good sign. I think we're about ready to pull this thing out of here. I didn't realize how small this thing was till I got it outside and I was sitting on it, because dang, it probably looks like a clown car, except the tractor edition with me sitting on it. I'm like 6'7". Running pretty good, not bad. Everything seems to work. It's definitely like folks say, I had to clutch it out of the door, you know, maybe I'll have to mess around with that high-low stuff, but dude, first gear is hauling, and I don't know, I don't do a lot of tractor things. Actually, I don't do any tractor things at the moment. Soon I will, but yeah, I see the complaint with Fords. They're definitely a little quick on even their lowest gear. Now, you guys that are well informed with tractor stuff, just try not to tear me a new one. I don't know what I'm doing. I assume we got to have some throttle in the thing to move around, you know, but you know, I'm used to having an accelerator pedal. This is completely different to me, so, you know, this is probably going to be weird, but this is what it is. I'm just going to try and enjoy the thing. At least give it a nice joyride before we have to put it to work. Alright, so we got our lever all the way forward. Our blade's up. Give it a little throttle here. Going to first. Oh, holy buckets. About threw myself off the back of the thing. I wonder if forward, that must be low gear. This is a little bit better.
You look like one. Barrel racing on a Ford tractor around trees.
Alright, so apparently these Fords are really fast, which made them not so ideal for farming. I don't know if Ford was trying to win a land speed record or what. So we got it in high gear now. Gonna try, is that reverse? Gonna try and grab third. Give her some RPM. Well, this ought to be pretty dangerous. Here we go. Try and let off the throttle easy. Holy bucket. Armageddon around here apparently now. Good low idle. All right, we have a tractor. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Now we can pull your horse poop around or whatever you do with tractors.
And your snow.
That one's pretty good.
Not
So
bad.
it's 15 pounds of oil pressure.
Not bad
That's
at all.
definitely a high-low gear. All the way forward is low, all the way back is high, and somewhere in the middle is neutral or something. So, yeah, it'll probably be pretty handy. It's way too fast without that thing on there. All right, my friends, thanks for coming along with me today. Obviously, we have some work to do to this thing yet. You know, some tuning. I didn't even look at the ignition timing or anything like that, but it seems to run pretty okay. Doesn't seem like we're blowing any coolant, no water in the oil, nothing out the exhaust, so I assume our head gasket's okay. It doesn't seem to be overheating, and I think we just got kind of lucky on this one. That's rare, but we'll take it this time. So I don't know, looks like we got a tractor now. Thanks for coming along with me, guys. I'll see you for the next one. Take care.
And the time's got tough.